Hello, welcome to Ms. Stewart's online classes. I just wanted to give you a preview and talk a little bit about the expectations of an online teacher-driven course. This is not an Apex class where you can go on anytime as far as attending. Now, let me clarify, you can go on outside of class meetings to do work or to study, so be aware of that. But here's some important information, so hang on with us. All right, so I'm driving, so to speak, and just a note, I am available for tutoring. I teach the classes, I set up the tests, I set up the materials, I check your work. So I am not an AI computer. It's going to get bumpy, and I plan to be here to help, so just hang on with us. So you need to come to class. Attendance has many benefits, and you can see the list there. You can get your questions asked, get information about projects and homework, go over potential test items, learn skills, talk about things relevant to life. I do remind you of work due. You can interact with your classmates. You connect with me, the instructor, and it's good practice for those future online college classes. Okay, so attendance is an 85% level that you have to meet every semester. This is whether we're seated or virtual in this situation. And here's the math. I did the math. I'm not the math teacher, but there's the math of how that breaks down. We have about 68 hours of class, 68 meetings, and took out the holiday break day, so that gives us 61 total. I multiplied that 1.25 hours, total of 76 hours. So that's close to what the math comes out to. Not perfect, though. So your target time is about 65 hours of attendance. Okay, so that boils down to roughly 6 class meetings, and so you should save them for when you're ill. Hopefully you won't be sick, but you may have children or other family members in the house that require you to be out. An emergency, those you can't predict, so you want to save your time for that. What if you have a funeral or religious holiday? And those are provided for. But again, you want to say that from the 6, not in addition to the 6. Maybe you have to meet with a child's teacher. That's an appointment that you made, or a doctor's appointment. And I do highly recommend that you try to do that outside of class time. We don't have classes on Fridays, and I'm sure you don't have class all day. These are some of those excuses I've heard for a missing class, at least in the online format. My battery's dying. I don't feel like coming. I didn't finish my work. I was doing my homework or test or project for your class or another. I don't know. I was working on some other classwork. I was doing Apex. I overslept. Of course, it's ridiculous to say aliens kidnapped me. Reasonable reasons were on the previous slide. Let's not act immaturely because maybe we don't all enjoy online learning as much, and I understand. I prefer to see your faces every day too. But until we get over the COVID crisis, this is how we will learn. Okay, so class meetings are at a set time, so arrange your schedule accordingly. Try to ask your boss, if you're working, that you're set up for classes at that time, that you actually have to meet, that it's not a sort of whenever. Again, ask for appointments or other meetings. Maybe you need to meet with a resource specialist, or you've got to get other work done. Try to get those done outside the meeting times. If you've got too many things going on, and we all have a lot to do, or a lot on my plate, or a lot going on, I understand. I do too. I'm not just sitting here talking to you, showing up at the beginning of class and saying just sort of winging it or hoofing it. So I understand, but if you have too much to do, seriously, I know it's stressful. Maybe you need to reduce or look at how many classes you're taking. Sometimes we get signed up for 2 or 3 or 4 seated classes. That may be too many. Maybe you're taking 1 or 2 seated classes and then you're taking a whole bunch of Apex classes. You can manage that by doing 1 class at a time as far as the Apex is concerned. Reduce how many online classes that you meet virtually with the instructor, things like that. But work on your time management. What if you need to stop? I hope that no one gets sick, no one gets COVID. But if you need to stop, please let us know you're withdrawing. Please let me know. I know you let the resource specialist know. You don't have to give me details. You can say, I've got to withdraw at this time. And if you withdraw, you can re-register for some of these classes next semester. Class meetings occur online in Sakai. If you go to the website, this is a screenshot of my grammar class, and you'll see class meetings with a little camera on there. You click there and you'll see the hot link for the day's meeting. Now, it doesn't usually come up to about 5 minutes before class starts, but it will go live then. And I will try to be there right on time, well, early, but I'll be there when you get there. So a few online rules, and if you were at Dr. Mack's meeting the other day, you probably heard this. Be prepared to start on time. Check your connection and your equipment. Turn your mic off unless you need to answer or say something. Get your materials out. Have, just like you have your computer out, any paper materials, and I know if you have my class, you have some paper materials, get those out. Be respectful. Make appropriate comments or answers. And you can keep the video off unless I ask. Sometimes I like to do that about every other week and just see that you're really there. So please be aware of that. So don't dress in your underwear, so to speak, or only your underwear or your bathing suit if I ask you to show you your face, just so I know you're alive. So stay the whole time. If you lose your connection, this happens, internet cuts out, things happen. Go out of Sakai, quit it, re-enter, and then rejoin the meeting. And have your mind set up and mentally focused to learn. If you arrive late, because it happens, I don't want to see that often, but I know it happens. So I'm going to check attendance because I have to write down who's there and when they arrive. I do that at the beginning of class, and because I get engaged in the class, I don't keep looking. It's not like a physical room where you walk in and go, oh, hi, Joe, or hi, Bob, or hi, Sue. I don't know that you're here sometimes, so please announce that you've gotten here, and do it not just in the chat box. Just say, turn on your mic, say, I'm here, or Genesis is here, or Bob's here, or whoever, and I can mark you present. If you arrive late, you may miss important announcements. You may miss checking homework like we do in grammar and writing. You might miss the lesson. For instance, later in classes in writing, we actually have a quick lesson and then we write something. So make sure that you're here. I do record classes, but participation attendance is bound to the real time that it happens. So if you watch it later, I can't give you credit. I've been told not to do that. So I can't give you credit for attendance. If you have to leave, let us know you're leaving. If you know ahead of time, that would be great. I have to leave at such and such time, which is before class ends, and that's great. But if you just check out and don't tell me, and I look and I see that you left, because I do randomly check, I may only give you 15 or 20, 30 minutes credit, usually about 15, because that's the only thing I feel really safe. But when you check out, if you say, I have to leave now, or I'm leaving at 11:30, I can write that down. Tardy arrivals and early departures do add up to absences. This is per the college policy. And so every time, 3 times you're late, it's an absence. 3 times you leave early, it's an absence. Any combination of those two. If you leave or arrive 20 minutes or more time, of that time, it's considered an absence. So be really careful about being late, and don't plan to leave early every day. All right, so what happens when you miss too many days? I will enter a W and withdraw you from the class. And so I just have a little graphic there. Now this says 8 absences, because I usually give you a couple extras, and then if there's any question, well, you drop me the minute I got to 6. I usually give people 1 or 2 extras, but then after that, I have to do it because you're too far behind or you're missing too much participation grade. And that does really affect your grade. I've had some students in the past who had really poor participation, and it really brought down their grade. And in the same vein, even if you have good grades on homework and tests, if you have poor participation, then you might end up with a lower grade than you'd like, or that you feel like you worked for. So how do I complete work in my online class? So I'm going to look at a few things here. You'll get specific dates for testing. It's not just attend class, take a quiz. That's a little more APEX style. You'll get credit for the time once you take the test. There are usually a range of dates to test, 3 for most. Tests expire after that particular date. So if you decide to go in, if the test expires Saturday at 3 p.m., usually it's about 4 p.m., and you go in at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. later and say, oh, the test is missing, that's because it expired and I can't put it back up. So if you have a medical written excuse that you can show that you were in the hospital, I hope not, but you were in the hospital from the time the test started to the time it was ended, then that would be maybe one thing that you could do. But because there's a range of days, I don't expect to see that you were in court every day, you had to meet with your landlord every day, or something like that. So it would have to be a medical. Don't skip class meetings to take the test. So you have one day that's available, which means we won't meet that day. Just like if we were in class in a physical setting, we would all sit there and take the test. I'm doing the same thing for the online classes. But if you don't take the test that day, you're going to be in what we call makeup mode, which means you'll take it outside of regular class time and do it on your own time, your homework time, I guess, so to speak, or your study time. Because we'll have if that test is on a Wednesday, we'll have regular class meeting that Thursday. Homework and projects you'll have to do, and those are all in Sakai. You saw the previous slide where I had the pointing at the class meeting, and on that same menu list, you'll see homework assignments or project information. And so you just click on that. Projects weigh up to 30%. So if you're in civics or literature, you have projects to complete, and the information examples are located there. If something is missing or you don't understand, just let me know. But they do weigh up to 30%. And then homework, all classes have, and it's located under the tab marked Homework Assignments. And when you click on that, you'll see only the assignments that are coming up that are due. And you can click on it, and start working on it. If you decide you can't finish it all at one time, you can save a draft and go back to it later. But they do have deadlines. There's a specific deadline where it's considered on time. but then I give 2 days beyond that to turn it in late, and you'll lose 10 points after after that first date. And then after that, the assignment goes poof, it disappears. All right, and these weigh up to 20% of your course grade. Of course, they also prepare you for tests and stuff. I'm not just giving you busy work to do. Journal work. If you're in grammar or writing, you will both those classes have journal work. Topics are located on the menu tab that says Journal Topics. They're also located in your book or your packet. I'm going to check them every 3 weeks, but I also will look in just to make sure you're making progress. So you're not waiting. Don't wait till the night before they're all due and try to do all the entries. If you do them once a week and spend maybe 10 or 15 minutes on them, you'll have them done, and you won't be sitting up the night before and your brain eventually will shut down, or you'll have a hard time thinking about the topics. You can always, again, save a draft and come back to it, but you will put those in Sakai as well. So your entry should all be in sentences, at least 5 per topic. So if you're doing like chapters in grammar, you would have 4 or 5 topics per chapter. If you're doing writing, you generally have 5 topics per week. And you should write at least 5 sentences. Make sure they're good, complete sentences, capital letters, punctuation, stuff like that. You click on journal work. That's a different button, and it allows you to enter. What you'll see is it'll say blog. I can't change the name of that. I would like to have it called journal entry once you click it and open it, but it says blog, and it says my blog, which means if you're looking at it, you're looking at your blog. So you click on my blog and you'll see what you entered or haven't entered. But you will be able to see my blogs. You might even be able to see other students, but don't spend time studying everybody else's stuff. Just look at Miss Stewart's blog. I've got the examples, I've got the topics. So there's another place you can see the topics. All right, what are some other resources in this? PowerPoint lessons or lectures for each class. So they're visually there. Some of them have a verbalization, like in spelling, I might pronounce sentences or words or whatever. Lectures, generally you would listen to the recording. You could also see the lecture there, what we covered that day. PowerPoint lessons come up the day for at least civics, the day that we finish a chapter. But writing lessons and grammar lessons are always there available, and you can look at those. There's also video links, and these are things that I spent time checking out and looking for. So you don't have to waste time looking at YouTube stupidness or poor lessons or things that probably maybe don't help you any. So I've already done that preview work for you. There's also a few links to websites that are helpful. So look at those. And then there are practice tests for grammar and writing. And then there are practice reviews for tests. And it says test reviews for civics. For literature, you should study all those questions that we went over in class. So you might review some of the conversations we had in class, but if you just go over your questions, you should have enough information, or you may want to preview those background lessons that were given or video clips that we watched. So what if you need help? You say, well, Miss Stewart, I forgot to ask during class or something. So contact me. I check my email, probably too much. That should be durhamtech.edu. I don't think you can see the edu on the screen. But I'm available. I check my email regularly. Now, I may not answer if you send me an email, say after 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I may not see that until the next day. But do send me an email. That's one way. So ask a quick question, check on something, whatever. Tell me that maybe you're missing class that day. Okay, the other thing that you could do is Google Voice and text me. And again, after a certain hour, I may not answer those texts. I'm not just sitting there waiting for your text every minute. And yes, I do work as a limited number of hours, but because I'm at home doesn't mean that I'm available 24/7. But it is still a quick way to get in touch with me. So it may be outside what some people might consider normal working hours. Okay? Your best bet for individual help, more than a quick question, is you're confused, you don't know how to do something, whatever, is to sign up for an appointment in Sakai again. There's a button called Appointment Sign Up, and you click on it, and it'll show you dates, not all the days, but the upcoming dates when I will be available. And they're in 15-minute lots. Now, if you need more than 15 minutes, we'll work on that. I'm not going to go, ooh, your 15 minutes are up, we're done. No, I won't do that. So sign up for an appointment. And then the next step will be I will send you a meeting confirmation via your email again. And we'll meet privately in Sakai meetings. So it'll be in the same location where you go to class. But for those, they're only private. Nobody else will be able to see those links. It'll be under your name. Generally, I put first name. I don't record those like we do lessons or class meetings, but it's a time for us to go over something very specific. And you can talk to me, and I can talk to you, and I can show you things online or type things up or whatever we need to work on. Our goal is to get you to that Emerald City. Remember, that was what Dorothy and her companions were going to go see the wizard for. You think of it that way. Your goal is to get home. There's no place like home. We want to get this done, get your credit, get you a good grade, get you moving on towards your next life goal of a job, a career, training, etc. But it's up to you. If Dorothy had given up, even though she had lots of friends helping her, you may or may not have friends to help you, she ultimately had to figure out on her own what she needed to do. And sometimes she just fell over that success. Your life will be a little bit easier in these classes as far as the map is laid out, the yellow brick road is laid out in front of you. You just have to follow it to the end of the semester, and then you will be there. So keep that in mind. I'm looking forward to seeing you in class. This is a picture of my old puppy, Sophie. You might see her face on some of my slides. Unfortunately, she passed several years ago, but I still love this picture because she was my cuddle dog. I'm a new puppy, but he doesn't like to cuddle quite as much. And every now and then you might hear him bark in the background. I try to keep him quiet, but he likes to lay next to me on the floor as I have class. And of course, we'll meet on the computer. You'll see me. I won't have my face up every day, but I will like to start to let you know I'm there. So, and I do have a little collage, personal collage located in Sakai if you'd like to look at that under the introduction to class, where you'll see this meeting recording and you'll be able to look at some other PowerPoints and lessons that'll help you succeed as best you can. And all I ask is that you try really hard, but you really have to do things. Trying and not really getting anything done, or saying, well, I tried, but I didn't get it. Did you ask Miss Stewart? Did you set up a meeting? If we have to do it twice, we'll do it twice. But let's try to keep on a schedule. Let's not wait till the last week of class and go, oh, but I didn't do all those assignments. And I'll try to keep you abreast of things, and everything will be put up in the grade book, and you'll see comments and the assignments or how you did. And I'll be glad to to critique things. I'll be proofreading essays for writing. I'll be reading your journals and making comments. There'll be lots of feedback for you. So I look forward to this. I know it's going to be hard for all of us, but I'll see you online in our first class coming up soon. So hang in there. Go to the website, try things out, click on buttons. You can't hurt anything at this point. Just don't start a test if anything pops, but I don't think anything will pop open until first day. But you can go look at the website. Well, good luck, and if you need me, you've got my information, and the website will be up soon. Take care. Bye.